I like it that you can explore really dangerous situations and difficult circumstances in a very safe way because you...
Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm here as a part of Bad Sydney, which is a Sydney Crime Writers Festival. I'm in the wonderful Abby's bookstore. Karina Kilmore, thank you so much for coming on my program today.
Oh, thank you, Stella.
You're a debut author. What is the name of your novel?
Where the Truth Lies.
Now, can you give us a quick pitch, please?
Where the Truth Lies is a newsroom investigation about a death at the wharf and the big tribal divide between unions and corporate Australia. It's set in Melbourne.
I love it. And what year, what era are we talking?
Modern day, right this very day.
And tell me about your protagonists.
My protagonist is Chrissie O'Brian. She's a journalist and she's somewhat of a difficult woman, and I love difficult women.
What makes her difficult? Tell me a bit more about her.
She's a bit grumpy, she's a bit driven, she has a secret past, so she goes about her day job exploring secrets of others while trying to keep her own past a secret. So I like that tension between what she does and what she's trying to hide.
Why is she grumpy? How old is she?
She's late 20s, about to turn 30, and she's grumpy because she's a bit of a perfectionist and she likes to do things the right way, and she's thorough, and yeah, she's just a difficult, grumpy woman.
And did you? Yeah, she sounds great. and like when you presented her. To the publisher, did anybody try and persuade you to change her at all, or make her less grumpy, or maybe even more?
No, they loved her. I think that's the biggest feedback I got. So the manuscript was in the Victorian Premier's Unpublished Manuscript Award, and the feedback from that was that everyone loved her. It was a very character-driven story, and the same when the manuscript went out to auction to all the publishing houses. The feedback was they loved the protagonist Chrissie. They liked her just as she was.
And talk to me about crime. Did you set out to write a crime novel? Are you a fan of crime fiction or non-fiction?
Yeah, I definitely set out to write a crime novel. I'm a big fan of crime fiction. I'm on the board of Australian Crime Writers Association and also on the programming committee for Sisters in Crime Australia, and I've read crime all my life.
What do you like about crime?
I like it that you can explore really dangerous situations and difficult circumstances in a very safe way because you know that it's fiction. As a reader, I know that it's fiction, and I know that there's going to be a resolution. I may not agree with the resolution, but there will be a resolution, and you know, I'll get through this. And as a crime writer, I love it for the same reasons, that I can introduce all these really complicated situations and dangerous conditions, but I'm still in control. You know, I'm not going to get murdered.
Okay, now you love crime, so this might be an easier question for you. Like, can you talk about who are some of your favourite crime writers, or even writers as such? Or have you read what's a recent Australian book that you might have read?
Yeah. I read a lot. I review books for one of the daily newspapers, and I also review books for Sisters in Crime. So I read a lot. I have a really big reading list. One of the standout crime books recently is The Silent Listener by Lynn. It's an absolute standout, and in fact I've just come from a session where Lynn was speaking about her book at the Bad Sydney Crime Festival. I highly recommend it. There's lots and lots of great crime writers, especially women crime writers.
I was just about to say women.
Yeah.
What a, yeah, and yeah. I was going to say, what's drawing women to this, but why not?
Yeah, absolutely, why not? And I think for many years, women were shut out of the crime market because it was seen as a male topic to write about, you know, the hard-boiled male detective and his, you know, big busted victims and things like that, very corny, you know, very old style crime, and I think that put off a lot of women writers, but now women have just taken it on as their own thing.
Now this comes to the fun part. You get to choose your own question from the question of doom pack. I really need to come up with a better name for that.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
All
Shall
right.
I look?
Yep.
The worst thing about being a writer.
What is the worst thing about being a writer?
Oh, funny you should ask me that. The worst thing about being a writer is that you have to live in this little world of your own. You have to live in your own head with your own story, your own, plots and planning. So it's very isolating sort of job. So I've worked as a journalist all my life in a big newsroom surrounded by, up to hundreds of people at a time. So noise and, shouts and all sorts of things going on in a newsroom. As a writer, as a novel writer, I'm sitting at home on my own and it's quiet and there's nobody around. So I often have to put on the TV or the radio or, just to create some noise. And that makes me actually focus right down onto my screen. The noise actually doesn't distract me. It makes me just narrow down.
That's what makes coming to a festival more special for writers who feel that isolation. Then you get to come and hang out with a bunch of other people.
That's right. Last night we had sort of a crime writers catch up, and this is the first time we've been able to do it since COVID, and it was just all these isolated workers coming together. The noise was incredible. Never before had we ever been able to talk so much and be so outgoing and social. So, we get to share it with each other every now and then.
Karina Kilmore, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Stella. Love to be here. Thank you.